Let's look at the idea of conversion fractions. Conversion fractions help us figure out whether to multiply or divide by a conversion factor. Conversion factors when you have some kind of equality like this. And often people aren't sure whether they should multiply or divide by that factor in a conversion. And it depends on the direction of the conversion. So here I'm going to play around with conversion fractions by taking something like 35 kilometers. And I want to convert that to some number of miles. Now, I know we could just look it up on Google, but let's check out conversion fractions. So again, the point is if I can rewrite one unit in terms of another based on some knowledge I have. Now, knowledge I have, let's say this is the knowledge I have, and I know a little bit about metric. Like I remember K is kilo, and that's 1,000. So I could make that conversion in a couple of ways. I could use the conversion fraction method and use the idea that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters because the K means 1,000. And so the conversion fraction technique would say multiply by a fraction. Kilo is essentially in the top of this fraction, so put it in the bottom of the next to get rid of it. And what do we know how to convert to? Well, meters. And we know there's 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So this says, the fraction says, hey, if you want to turn kilometers into meters, you better multiply by the 1,000, not divide by it. And we can just keep chaining these together. Like, for example, meters, I'd rather have centimeters. And there's a couple ways that one can go. You might remember that a meter is 100 centimeters. So that allows you to get rid of the meters by just throwing in another multiple of 100 to turn to centimeters. Then I can use this factor up there. Centimeters is in the top. To get rid of it, I put it in the bottom. And I know how to change to inches. 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. This time I need to divide by the number to make the conversion. So sometimes you multiply, sometimes you divide. How do you know? Some people can just reason it out with some common sense. Sometimes it's not that obvious. Conversion fraction settles any mystery. And I can just keep chaining these together, get rid of inches, put it in the bottom. Inches to feet. I know there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So I got another division to do here. And then finally, I can get rid of feet because I know there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So now feet are gone and miles are left, which is what I want. So on my calculator, I would take that 35, multiply it by 1,000, multiply that by 100, divide that by 2.54. 12 gets divided there too, and 5,280 gets divided. Let's see what we get on the calculator. 5 Desmos is a nice calculator. Desmos Scientific. All right. We've got 35 times 1,000 times 100. And we're going to divide by 2.54. And then also in the bottom, it's going to be a 12. And also in the bottom, and that division is going to be a 5,280. And I get about 21.75. That would be miles. Now, yes, in these days, we can just go ask Google or chat, whatever. So let's see, we want to change kilometers to miles, and Google says 1 kilometer is 0.62137 miles. And down here, they say for an approximate result, divide the length value by 1.609. So I'm assuming this is the length value here. Let's see. Would that give me the same thing? If I took the 35 and just divided by 1.609, so Google must be telling me that there's 1.609 kilometers in a mile. And hey, look, that's pretty close to the same result. No, I typed a 36, 35. That's not bad. I rounded that to a 5. This came out to a 5, which is the better answer. They're both approximates. They're both good. I think this upper one's a little more precise, given that we used a centimeter, very tiny measurements, to try and make that conversion. Conversion fractions, powerful tools.